This is a cedar tree. Actually, it's an eastern arborvitae, but everybody calls them cedar trees. Swamp cedar, let's go with that. And it is a hedge, and it is getting further and further out every year because no one prunes it. And if you prune it with shears, then that's fine. Do that a couple of times a year and it'll be beautiful. But if it's long and overgrown like this one is, I can buy back several feet of my driveway by weaving it together. And it's pretty literal. I'm going to take big branches like this, and these two are pointing in the same direction. That's fine. Spring is the best time to do this because everything's all nice and supple. If you do it in summer, I guess, then that's fine. But you're going to get a lot more damage. I'm trying to find a branch right now that I can pull on, like this little guy, here, because I want to pull this back in, and I'm actually going to take a step back because we really are braiding. I'm going to pull this guy in here, and why would I do this? Who cares? What's the big difference? Well, the big difference is that I keep my privacy by weaving it back. In fact, I increase my privacy. So now this guy's sticking out, so we're going to pull him in with this other guy that's sticking out, and we're going to weave him back here. And I'm learning from the last time, and I'm going to pull him all the way back here. Ow! He bites. You wouldn't think so, but we're going to do that. Now, that's pretty straightforward. Let's take this guy and move him way back here. I'm cautious about this monster because I don't want to be pulling him out. This guy, I'm going to take, actually this guy here, I can just take him and put him behind these guys. If I just lift that up, bring him around, and maybe I will. I changed my mind. I'll weave him through here. Now this guy is sticking way out, so I can buy a bunch of room by taking him all the way back to this big guy. I don't want to put too much pressure on him. Kind of figuring this out as I go, to be honest. How to verbalize it anyway. There we go. I'm looking for branches that I can move without damaging. And I don't have to do the whole thing. I just have to take him back a little ways. Now this guy, fluffy guy here, he can go back and tuck in here. I just keep looking over and over again at what's trying to poke me in the eye, to be honest. Let's take him and weave him into this little branch that's tucked there. I've never braided anyone's hair, but I gather this is the same idea. This guy here and this guy here, he's way back there. So if I take this guy, go a little further than you need to. This is going to be an experimenting thing for you too. You'll get a little better at it every time. If you have a few little tiny dead bits of branches, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Don't back into your cameraman. Let's take, so if I take this guy and pull him over here, now I'm making a gap. So let's plan ahead for that and put this guy in here. And then I can weave this guy here. And you can, I've bought 2 to 3 feet of distance before of my driveway, or someone else's driveway in my case. Come to think of it, this is the first time I've done it on my driveway. Nope. Don't be afraid to take a step back. No one's watching you. You're not being graded on this, except maybe me by you. There. See, I can pull that guy in. I pulled him back out to let fluffy branches come out. And these will grow together. These will actually graft together eventually. I've done hedges like this and checked on them 15 years later, and it's still good. I mentioned it to an arborist friend of mine, and he went, well, It's gonna. When are you doing it? In the spring? Well, all right. I don't think you'd ever really thought about it. I might, when I'm done this, take a pair of secateurs or shears and take off the leftover fluffy bits. It's a technical term, but I find that I can do most of what I want. Sometimes I don't even have to look. Just by bending. It's going to look a little weird when I'm done, a little bit forced, shall we say. But it will grow out of that as soon as spring starts. Left or right? Let's go this way. Actually, let's just stuff him all the way through, and he's going to stay there. Because the branches that you weave in will hold other branches. Think of it like a net, almost, at some point. It's true. Sometimes I'm kind of making it up as I go, but that's all right. It is a very improvisational process. And I don't know if I'm going to get there from here, but I like growing vines in hedges as well. And so I'm going to skip ahead a tiny bit. See, we've actually already bought back quite a good deal of distance here. I've got a black raspberry vine here that the car is clipping. So I'm actually going to take him up in, and if I can, I'm going to take this little guy here, and I'm going to just make sure the raspberry vine is nice and in there. And then I'm going to weave, this little branch, and I'm going to braid that in with this. And I call it pruning by weaving. Copyright 2025. There we go. Now, sometimes I go back and forth. I'll see, now that I've done a bit, I see another branch that I can weave in. I'm trying to get as many of these little branches as possible woven in, but not sort of, I don't want them to look crucified. I don't want them to look forced. I just want them in there. You gonna stay? Sometimes if you're not sure, just give it a little jiggle. Don't be afraid. It's just like real pruning. Don't be afraid to be a little bit forceful. See this guy, I'm having trouble getting him to hang in there. Plants are very accommodating. I want this to grow that way, into the hedge a little bit. So if I prune it back to a branch like this one that points in, I can't make that guy stick, so I can take the fluffy bit off. So that's what I was on about as far as that goes. This guy here, yoink. I can, yes, I said yoink. I can weave that in. This is still sticking out a little bit. Can I? There's a little branch there. A little tiny branch. I can take, I just gotta get that guy, there we go. In there. And weave like that. Now I can stuff that guy in there, and I can even stuff him. Stuff, cram. Now I can see this guy here. Weave this end in. It's going to be tough for you to. Oh no, I broke one. Well, that's okay. That's what pruning tools are for. I pushed this guy a little too far, and I could feel that break. And it may look okay, but we're going to cut that back to a side branch, a lateral branch, if you will. How far you go, how intense you get about this is sort of up to you and your aesthetic and need. Don't forget about need. That guy can go in here. This guy can now come through here. Not bad. Not bad. I think that's it. I think you get the idea. I have on occasion woven a branch to itself. A piece of a branch further back to a piece of a branch on itself. These two are going to go in an opposite direction. This guy's going to come around here gently. Try and get him past that guy there. Now, not only can I still not see my neighbor, who I quite like, but I can see him even less. This guy can now come up through here. What about you? There you go. There. So if we go back and look down this long line, you can see how much I've taken out of this. Cool. All right. Well, let me just look one more thing. I'm just going to do this guy here because I can. Have we not heard the chimes at spring? I know. That's it. Weaving a shrub thin.